Welcome to another wonderful episode of Success Innovation. Today's episode, Value Your Childhood. It goes by way too fast. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Success Innovation. Thank you to our audience for joining us today. Once again, I'm really excited because today we have another special guest. Her name is Marina from Southwestern Community College, and she's the current actual president for the SHPE chapter over in that community college. So welcome, Marina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Would you care to introduce yourself and obviously tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, my full name is Marina Nava. I'm from National City. I'm attending a Southwestern Community College, and this is going to be like my third year going in, and I'm a mechanical engineering major. As Lázaro said, I'm the current president of SHPE Southwestern College, and yeah.
Okay, great. So a little while ago, we were talking that you attended Sweetwater in National City, Sweetwater High. Can you tell us about that couple years in your life in the high school?
Well, it was a little bit hard because I've always wanted to like excel in my academics, but Sweetwater isn't the type of high school that students are usually inclined to excel. You know, a lot of the time students aren't interested in what comes after high school. They're only focused on the now. And it was really hard for me to make friends and make connections with other people because they didn't have the same goal as me.
So are you talking about the student population or the high school programs?
I'm talking about the students.
Oh, so the student population.
Yes.
They were not like-minded individuals. They weren't really looking to excel or pursue something beneficial in life for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than graduating and then moving on to their job.
Okay. It got a little bit easier once I started senior year because that's when I started all of like my harder like AP classes. Like AP stands for Advanced
So you
Placement.
went and you took AP courses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so that's when I started to realize that there's still some students that are kind of like me, like they are interested in college and universities and getting a degree and all that.
What do you think at the high school level helped you to get more focused, channel that energy, and find those like-minded individuals at the high school level?
I think taking the AP classes, taking any type of accelerated classes really helped a lot because it kind of put me in this community apart from like the population of Sweetwater as a whole, and also talking to the teachers a lot and talking to the counselors there. They kind of guided me towards like what I wanted to be, and also they kind of like helped me keep going. Because there were some points where I just kind of I seemed very
you were a little stuck. You didn't know what else to do, what to follow on, and such things like that. Okay. How did you start seeking out this advice from the teachers? Did they approach you, or did you actually start the conversation with them?
It's a little weird because I kind of, once you start going into the higher level high school classes, they start becoming friendlier towards you, and they kind of treat you as equal now that you're about to become an adult. And so once we started having like these conversations, like just like teachers in general, we started having these conversations, and I realized that they're not just like an authoritative figure, you know, like they're there to help you personally, and like they're there to help you with not just like your grade in that specific class, but like your overall like life. So
they're trying to prepare you for other things other than just schoolwork, essentially. That's what I'm getting from you. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a particular teacher that you remember fondly that you believe that helped you out quite a bit and that it's memorable to you?
Yeah, actually, my calculus teacher, Mr. Mendiola, he was really helpful in kind of like guiding me towards what I wanted to be, which was like engineering.
Okay.
Especially
now that you bring this up, engineering, and you mentioned mechanical engineering.
Yes.
When did you figure this out? When did you figure that mechanical engineering was for you?
It was actually my senior year in high school.
Okay.
I was actually supposed to accept an offer from UC Santa Barbara for biology because up until that point, I thought I wanted to become a doctor and I wanted to be a pre-med.
Okay.
And at the very last second, I decided not to take the offer. I decided that biology and medicine wasn't for me.
Okay.
And I talked to Mendiola actually a couple of times, and he said, you know what, like, it seems like you're very passionate about math and physics and these like engineering subjects. Like, why don't you try out for engineering? And so I had to research what exactly engineering is during my senior year of high school, and I had to like kind of decide on like a really, really big decision on whether to stay here, start my college in like the community college, or to just disregard what everyone was saying and what I was feeling and just go straight to UC.
So you're telling me that you actually applied to UC,
Yes. Yeah.
a school, and you got accepted under a biology major, but you opted to decline the offer because you felt that you wanted to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as of now,
Interesting.
I haven't changed my mind.
You have not changed your mind.
No.
So you don't think that that was a wrong decision?
No, I don't think
No.
so. I don't regret
Okay.
it.
Interesting. So when that happened, what did your family say?
They were kind of glad.
They were glad.
Yes, I come from like a Mexican family.
Were they
and-
glad just because you weren't going away?
Yes,
Okay, so
yeah.
that was it.
They were-
Okay,
they
they weren't
were-
glad that you changed your mind switching biology to engineering. They were just glad that you weren't leaving house.
Well, they were glad with that too,
Okay.
just because they saw me being more passionate about that
Really?
than biology. They're like, you know what, like if that's not what you want to do, then don't do it. Of course, like me being
Who was more
staying at
supportive
home.
of that decision? Your mom or your dad? Or
I think both, but my mom showed it more.
she showed it more?
Yeah.
So obviously you probably have more of a intimate conversation with them, and you said, you know, I'm declining the offer from the UC school. I'm going to a community college. Okay. So at that point, you already probably had an acceptance letter. You had everything ready to go. How do you tell a university, you know what, I decline?
Well, I don't remember it exactly, but I just I remember contacting the admissions for UCSB, writing them a letter apologizing for my abrupt decision to not go.
Okay.
And it was fairly easy. They said, okay, give us your student ID, give us all this information.
So you already had the student ID. I mean, you had already
I had my
accepted.
roommates.
Oh
I
my
had my
God!
roommates.
How long was it before school started? Before you made this decision? Was it a week, 2 weeks, a month? I mean, obviously you go through the application process sometime in November,
Yes.
and you get the acceptance letter in February, March, if.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you already applied through financial aid, FAFSA, and that takes place sometime in February timeframe, if I'm not
Yes.
wrong.
I think so.
And so you probably already had everything, and it might have been April or May when you faced this decision.
I believe it was May. Yes.
In May,
Yes.
a couple weeks before you graduated.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So I'm gonna dig a little more on this.
Okay.
This is really interesting. Okay, so did you ever think about reaching out to the university and saying, hey, I changed my mind. I don't want to be a biology major. I don't want to go into that particular field. Is it possible that you reconsider my acceptance and switch me over to engineering?
Well,
Or you can't, I mean, did you try?
I actually did.
Okay.
So it was earlier on the. It was earlier in the year. I would say about like maybe April. I contacted the admissions office, and I
Right.
asked them if there was any chance of, like, basically the same question, right? If there was any
Switching
chance
major.
of me switching the major, and they said there is a chance, but you would have to go through the biology major for a year, and then still take both the bio courses
The
and
undergrads.
and the engineering courses. And then apply for a major change.
But there was no guarantee.
Yeah.
There was no guarantee.
She even said like it's very, very difficult for a student to switch into the engineering major because it's so compacted.
Because it's really impacted.
Yeah.
It's an impacted field.
Yeah.
What school was it? I'm sorry.
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any other backup schools at that point? Or obviously at that point, whoever accepted you or gave you an acceptance letter, you probably already turned them down?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Santa Barbara was the one that you chose?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is very interesting because I've never encountered somebody telling me that at that point, so close, after they'd been accepted to a 4-year university, they already had everything set up, saying, no, I'm changing my mind and I'm following my passion, which in your case turns out to be mechanical engineering. You already told me that you spoke to a teacher and then you felt that, your passion was mechanical engineering, but there's so many engineering courses, so many engineering paths. How and why and when, more in particular, did you figure out mechanical engineering is something that I want to pursue?
It took me a while to figure out mechanical engineering, and for a whole year, I think in Southwestern College, I just had my major as engineering. Like I didn't have a specialty.
So it was just general
yeah, it was
engineering.
just general engineering.
You could go either way.
Yes.
You could go to any branch in engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I really liked making things. Like I liked the idea of having something physical and knowing how it works and knowing the science, the physics, the mathematics behind it. And I just chose like engineering. I also I really liked it because it was very in my eyes, I think it's very I wouldn't want to say general, but it's like one of the most popular engineering.
Mechanical.
Yeah.
Yes. It's more, it's more versatile.
Yes.
You can definitely target a lot more companies and you can adapt more because you have more of that foundation. Mm-hmm. And for all those watching, I'm a mechanical engineer and I can definitely relate to that. And if I would say, if you're interested in engineering, mechanical engineering is one of the best and more versatile careers that you can have because you can focus on pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. So congratulations on that decision.
Thank you.
So now that you're in Southwestern Community College, what was it like the first semester or the first year that you were there? Did you ever have any regrets at that point of turning down a 4-year university? Was there any time that you said, maybe I made a mistake?
Honestly, no.
No.
For me, no.
Okay.
But I did have a really, really big regret in high school when I regretted not being more involved. Okay. And maybe that was the reason why I didn't have as many options in a university, which UCSB is a very great school,
sure,
but
yeah.
If I had been more like in tune with the extracurricular activities that they offered in my high school, I probably would have been a better candidate for a lot of other schools that I didn't get into. And
so when you say other extracurricular activities, can you kind of explain that for me and for the audience?
Well, like clubs or sports.
So you didn't belong to any club? You didn't really do any other extracurricular activities other than focus on school?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was it.
So let's go back to, I regress a little more that you bring this up. What kind of clubs did you have at high school that you wish you would have been participant of?
Well, I really, really wish I would have been in the robotics club, especially because Sweetwater, they had a lot of competition, and I think they won, 2 years in a row, like my junior and my senior year, they won some competition. I don't remember. They won some
award in a certain competition.
They were recognized.
Okay. So they were highly ranked.
Yes.
And they were very competitive, and so that would have given you more of an opportunity to experience some of the engineering options out there. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
And it was so weird because I knew most of them. I knew they were all my friends, and they all wanted to be engineers.
So why didn't you go
don't
into
know.
it?
I
Okay.
don't-
Well, in your mind, you were gonna be a biology. You were gonna be
Yeah.
a doctor, pre-med, and that's kind of where your path was leading.
Yes.
Interesting.
But there was also a lot of other like medical clubs, like the nutrition club or like the.
But you never participated in it.
No.
Can you kind of pinpoint or maybe dwell on why you didn't participate in those clubs? Was it just culturally, maybe your family didn't really allow for that to happen? Maybe you felt that your parents wouldn't approve, wouldn't agree of it, or I don't know. Would that be something?
I think that in my mind, I kind of made the excuse that, oh no, like I'm 16 years old, like I'm just gonna focus on school, like classes and working. Because I started working at 16 years old.
You started working at 16. Okay.
Yeah, but I think I could have made the time if I really tried. Like how I'm doing right now. I'm president of, one of the clubs that I feel really passionate about.
Okay.
And
in that SHPE, right?
Yes.
Yes. Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. Where and how and why are you passionate about SHPE?
I think I'm passionate about it because it's one of the few clubs that I've experienced that actually made me feel like I was part of a family and not just a club. Because there are people and they're like professionals and like students, like, right? So students of different universities and then professionals of any like engineering company that you can think of. And when they know that you're involved with SHPE, they immediately have like this chain reaction where it's like, oh, like, okay, like you're from SHPE, I'm from SHPE too. Like
there's a switch that gets flipped and there's a connection, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And like they treat you differently, they treat like more friendly, and I think that's like a really, really.
So where did you first experience that type of culture difference or change? Where did you first notice that there was something different that you connected with the individuals? Was it at the community college level? Was it at a convention? Was it at... So where did you first see this?
It was actually at the regional convention last year.
Okay.
So it's called like the RLDC. They hosted it at UC Irvine last semester. Actually, it was like when spring semester.
Okay.
And that was one of the first times where I actually got to see how big SHPE really is, and it's honestly like that. The regional convention is like nothing compared to the national convention, which is what I'm going to be. So when you say
nothing compared, you're saying it's a little more smaller, more intimate because regional conventions take place, redundantly in region 1, 2, or 3. So each region has different colleges or universities that can attend. So it's not everybody from nationally wide college areas. So just to kind of briefly give an explanation is California, Arizona, maybe a little bit of Nevada are the ones that attend to this regional convention, correct? Okay, so you got to meet those individuals. Not saying that other individuals from other national colleges don't attend, but this is more local centralized. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you met and you understood and you felt this family environment, which is called the shpefamilia, and everybody kind of knows what that means if you're in SHPE. And so, okay, now with being the president at the regional convention, were you already the president? You weren't, right?
No.
Okay, so you were an attendant, just a member, and now you're the president. Now in this new year for the school year, 2019-2020, you're the current actual president for Southwestern Community College. Why and how did you decide to become a president or postulate to be a candidate to run for the presidency?
Well, I think during the regionals, I had like suggested to be like vice president.
Oh, you wanted to be a vice president? Okay.
Yes, and I think I was already the vice president by the time I attended regionals.
Okay.
and I really liked it. I liked being like having the power to make decisions in our like small community college chapter.
Okay.
And I like the coming up with all these ideas of helping not like SHPE in general, but like Southwestern College in particular.
Okay. So a little more centralized, more community oriented in your own community college.
Yeah, especially because we are a community college, and I think that there's a lot of students that are a bit lost in like the next steps to what they're already in, which is like to transfer.
Okay.
You know, so I think I really like the idea of like leading people.
Okay.
Also, me personally, I don't think of myself as a leader. Before I became the president, and so
Okay. But now your perception of who you are as a leader has slowly began to change?
Yes, and
okay.
I think that I wanted to change that.
You wanted to change that. Was there a particular instance that you can pinpoint that this thought process changed inside of you?
I don't think I have a particular instance. I just think the more and more I was involved in SHPE, I think the more I wanted to be like these, like the SHPE professionals, be like the all these people that I surrounded myself with, and they were all like very great leaders. I know the UCSD SHPE current president. Her name is Sky Edwards. She's a very great leader, and I honestly admire her so much. And so I think I decided it was time for me to finally be a leader myself, you know?
Okay.
And the first step into like, you know, kind of changing my perception is to actually throw myself into the water and say, hey, like I want to be the president.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. So my next question, you kind of already hinted at it, is do you have any people, any mentors? You mentioned Sky, so she could be considered a mentor, but she probably doesn't know that you consider her a mentor.
No.
She probably doesn't know this, right? So if you're watching, Sky, you have a mentee who now is looking up to you, and she finds that you have awesome qualities as a leader. So shout out to you at UCSD, the UCSD president currently, 2019, 2020. Is there anybody else that you find that it could be considered a mentor for you, whether they know it or not?
Yes, actually, one of my closest friends, he's currently in Berkeley because he was one of the few people that actually got accepted into Berkeley last semester or last year.
From community college?
Yes, from Southwestern.
Okay, all right.
He's the one who told me about SHPE, and he's the one who introduced me to Ivan. He's a very, very, he's had a very big impact on my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
what's his name again? I'm sorry?
Joseph.
Joseph. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to Joseph. Also, Berkeley, right?
Yes.
To UC Berkeley. Shout out to him. Yes. What are the qualities or what impact or what qualities that he have that impact you?
I think he knows how to present himself very well. He's also a very great leader. Well, at least in my eyes. I don't know if he considers himself a leader, but he has a way of getting what he wants, and no matter how impossible it seems.
Okay.
You know,
so he's very persistent.
Yes.
And determined.
Yes.
If he puts a goal, he sets a goal.
Yes.
He goes after it, and if there's obstacles, he'll try to circumvent them, surpass them, and follow through until he achieves the goal.
Yes.
Okay. So have you learned to do some of that and mimic some of those actions?
Yes, especially in my classes, I learned to just keep persisting on, even though the class seems impossible. I just need to keep studying, keep going. Also, he taught me to make decisions very carefully, and because a lot of the times these decisions that I make are going to impact my life in the long run. And so,
can you share with us one of the decisions that maybe you have dealt with in the close past?
Well, being the ship president.
Being the ship president, okay.
Yeah, being involved in this. Also, I'm part of another club called Phi Theta Kappa.
Okay, can you kind of tell us what that is?
Phi
Theta Kappa or Pi?
Yeah,
okay.
It's PTK. It's an honor society, so anyone with a 3.5 GPA or above is allowed to join.
Okay.
And they have a lot of great opportunities in the sense of like either scholarships or internships that they sent out specifically through Phi Theta Kappa.
Okay.
And he encouraged me to join that because he believed that there was a lot of great opportunities that I was kind of like in that category to kind of just apply to them and to see like what I can get out of it.
So for the audience that is watching and listening, would you suggest that being involved in an organization, student organization, is beneficial, and is it imperative that they join one if they're not in one already?
Yes. I think it's going to be very like it'll work to your advantage in the end, especially because you'll get to meet a lot of people with the same goals as you, just like how I did in high school, but this time it's to a greater extent because there's a lot more people in community college than there was in high school. But also, I think people need to take into consideration their limits and not take too much of what they can handle.
So have a school, life, work balance.
And
That's
it's a very hard thing to do.
Of course,
and I'm still kind of learning on like what it is that I can take on and what it is that I can probably leave for later, like a later time or like maybe sometime in the future.
So let's explore that a little bit, and I'm going to ask this question. Have you found yourself taking on too much responsibility and having to, stress over something that you said you were going to do, and now you're like, oh, how am I going to do this? When am I going to finish it? And how did you deal with that? And if there's nothing at the moment, you can definitely say no.
It hasn't been to that extent. I think the most I can probably say is taking too many classes at a time.
Okay.
At one point, I was taking about 16 units.
Okay.
And I decided to drop one of the classes because I told myself that I don't have the time for it right now. But I took it during intersession, like right after.
You mean intersession, is that kind of like summer school?
It's a winter
break.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a little bit
more
shorter,
of a fast-paced, like 4 or 5 week course.
Yes.
Okay, it's kind of like summer school, but in winter.
Yes.
Or winter school. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, it's awesome. So, with that being said, have you found yourself changing in the time that you entered community college? Have you picked up any soft skills? You obviously said that you started seeing change in your perception of who you are. Mm-hmm. Now you feel that you're more of a leader, but what else have you seen change for the better? Or hopefully for the better.
Yes. Okay. I think my communication skills have
improved
a lot. Yes.
Okay.
Like when I was in high school, I was very soft-spoken and I didn't really speak my mind at all.
Okay.
And so like no one really ever saw my input or my perception of things, which is a bad thing because I think everyone's opinion does matter in some way, and it's good to have everyone's opinion in a subject that is very important. I think that has helped a lot. I think other than my leadership, that has improved, and I think just like my time management skills.
Time management, okay. Yeah. Now that you're bringing up time management, how do you keep track of the items that you have to do? Do you have an agenda, a calendar, a physical notepad that you keep track of, or do you just kind of go off memory?
Oh no, I don't go off memory.
You don't go off memory, okay.
No, I use Google Calendar.
You use Google Calendar?
Yes, because I used to have like an actual calendar, but I found that one, I don't always have my calendar with me, mm-hmm. of like when people like tell me I need to do something,
right?
And two, I forget to use it.
You forget to use it. Yeah. So for you, it's more of a better situation to use Google Calendar.
Yeah,
and that
it's more
keeps you more
convenient.
accountable.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you carry your phone all the time.
Yeah.
So obviously you can flip on that technology media and go ahead and look at what you have. Probably put reminders or alarms or
Yeah.
something, and it beeps 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever you need to do, and you keep yourself accountable that way. Okay, interesting. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's. This question's a little interesting because you're a young lady, and I want to see and hear from you. Has there been any obstacles, and how do you feel in the engineering field? I don't know how to put it more delicately. So, just because it's more of a male-dominated, and
Yeah.
so maybe you can talk about that.
Well, once I started my more rigorous classes, like my math classes, right? I took, after like my string of calculus classes, I took differentials and linear algebra. I found that a lot of my classmates were male. I think there was only about 4 females in that class.
So the percentage of females dramatically would dramatically dropped, and you could definitely see that there was less of individuals, and so you could definitely tell that there was less women in those classes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I wouldn't want to say that it was because of my gender, but I think they had a different. They valued my classmates valued other males' opinion more
Really?
than mine in some cases. Yes. So like if they weren't sure on how to do a specific problem, they would ask me, but just to make sure, they would ask another classmate that happened to be a male, you know? And like, I think if there were times where they would ask the males first, but they wouldn't second guess themselves, and they would just immediately like trust them.
Really?
Yes. But other than that, I don't think I've faced too much discrimination.
I wasn't talking about
Okay.
discrimination. I was more like, why is the reason that there's less percentage of females in the class versus males in the class? That's an interesting insight that you bring up. I didn't really think about that. I didn't really see it. I mean, I don't really see it just because obviously I'm more the other gender, so I didn't really experience that.
Okay. Well, in that case, I am not sure.
Okay.
Actually, I really love engineering.
Okay.
I don't know why females don't pursue it as much.
Okay.
But the few that do,
Yeah.
they're very passionate about
They're very
it too.
passionate about it. Okay. All right.
So
Interesting.
I
good.
wouldn't know how to, speak for the other females that don't.
Okay.
Go.
But you just noticed it, and you notice it in every class as you progress that
Yeah.
there's less percentage of females in those classes. Okay.
I hope it grows though. Like I
Yeah.
hope the percentage
Well,
grows.
you're one of the ones that will definitely help it grow, and obviously all the engineer male counterparts, we're here to support the other half to come over on board and take engineering and do the best that they can and be equals in that field. So that's what I believe, and I hope to see it happen in the near future. So I also want to ask you, do you have any target schools that you want to transfer into?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
My number one school as of now is the University of Southern California.
Oh, USC.
Yes.
Why?
Because I went to go visit the campus over the summer, actually. And I fell in love with the school. Like I loved like their whole like, how do you say like their
The campus, the vibe, the community involvement. I don't know. Really?
But like their school spirit, like
The
they're
school
very
spirit,
proud
they're
of
very.
themselves.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
Okay.
I really like their like 3D innovation that
Okay,
they've had, because I'm
really?
very interested in 3D printing.
Okay.
And I don't know, like the community was amazing. Like everyone was so polite. I went in there and I could literally see myself
Being
a
part of
student.
that campus.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Have you, obviously you do have a LinkedIn account. I hope that you've reached out to members of those universities.
Yes, I actually reached out to the president.
Okay, to the president of that SHPE chapter?
Yes.
And are you in contact with them
Yes.
continuously, getting insight as to what it takes to get in, what advice?
Yes, actually.
So maybe explain to us a little bit about what you've done through LinkedIn.
So through LinkedIn, I contacted the president of the
SHPE
USC,
chapter
of USC, and she she personally didn't transfer in from community college.
She went directly from high school?
Yeah, so but she did give me some members that had transferred, and they gave me a little bit of insight of what it is that they had that maybe that they saw had helped them. I don't think they could really tell me what they're looking for, but they gave their story on
what allowed them to be successful in getting accepted there.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. So you have some insight as to what it takes to actually get in. Have you contacted your community college counselor and asked and talked about what it takes to transfer over to USC?
I actually haven't.
You have not?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Maybe this is an opportunity to start pursuing that option and reaching out to your community college counselor and seeing what options you have, right? So that's something to think about. Okay, awesome. A couple more questions. What is the definition of success for you?
I think the definition of success is basically doing what you want to do. There's a lot of people can mold success, their idea of success, into many different things. And for me, success is getting my degree, because I'm just so focused on school, and right now it's kind of my life, which isn't a bad thing. I love my academia, but obviously my perception of success is going to change once I actually achieve my goals.
Right. And it's always changing. Yes.
Yeah.
But right now, that is your definition of success. Okay. So one other question. If you could go back, you had a time machine, you could jump in it, little Marina is there when you get out, and she's 10 years old. What would you say to her?
I would say that, just keep going, because it's things are going to change and you won't be like this forever. And also value your time as a child. Okay. Because I felt like I grew up too fast, and I wanted to, be an adult so quickly, and I didn't.
So now
really have
you
an actual
long
reason
to go back and be more of a child longer. Is that what you're saying?
Not longer, just appreciate it more.
Okay, appreciate it more. Okay, all right. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you, Marina.
Thank you.
And to our audience, once again, thank you so much for watching and listening to another wonderful Success Innovation episode. Once again, the upcoming live event is on October 18th. Are you going to show up to that event? Yes. Okay, great. So I'll see you there, and we'll see you there. And for those who are watching or listening, the Success Innovation sponsored hosted event is on October 18th. It'll be at Hilltop High in Chula Vista. So please register. You'll find the information in the description section. I hope to see you there along with Marina. And you can ask us or interact with us and network with us at that event. Also, once again, the fee for watching the show, very simple. Go ahead, and if you find information that is valuable to you in each one of the episodes, please refer a friend so that we can continue to grow the community. We'll watch you next time. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching another wonderful episode of Success Innovation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoy making it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as the audio podcast. I will see you next time.